Welcome to the day 6 of the course where you will get started learning instance groups in Google Cloud. Let's take a look at the learning objectives of this section. I will start with overview of instance groups. Then we will see how to create instance groups in Google Compute Engine. Next, I will show you how to make rolling update and restart in instance groups. Finally, we will run a couple of commands to create and update instance groups using command line interface. Let's get started. In this video, let's briefly go through the overview of instance groups. An instance group is a collection of virtual machine VM instances that you can manage as a single entity. Compute Engine offers two kinds of VM instance groups, managed and unmanaged. Managed instance group let you operate apps on multiple identical VMs. So you can make your workload scalable and highly available by taking advantage of automated MIG services. That includes auto-scaling, auto-healing, regional multiple zone deployment, and automatic updating. There is also unmanaged instance groups. Unmanaged instance groups let you load balance across a fleet of VMs that you manage yourself. So managed instance groups can be used for scenarios like stateless serving workloads such as website frontend, stateless batch high performance or high throughput compute workloads such as image processing from queue, or stateful applications such as databases, legacy applications, and long-running batch computations with checkpointing. Let's talk about the benefits of managed instance groups. The managed instance groups offer high availability. You can automatically repair failed VMs, and also it offers application-based auto-healing. It also offers regional multi-zone coverage. Another advantage of MIG is a load balancing. You can also have a scalability. Scalability means when your apps require additional compute resources, auto-scaled MIGs can automatically grow the number of instances in the group to meet the demand. If demand drops, auto-scaled MIGs can automatically shrink to reduce your costs. Another benefit of MIGs is automated updates. MIG Automatic Updater lets you safely deploy new versions of software to instances in your MIG and supports flexible range of rollout scenarios such as rolling updates and canary updates. Last but not the least, another advantage of benefit of MIGs is its support for stateful workloads. You can use MIGs for building highly available deployments and automating operations of applications with stateful data or configuration, such as databases, DNS servers, legacy monolith applications, or long-running batch computation and checkpointing. So stateful MIGs preserve each instance's unique state, like instance name, attached persistent disk, and metadata, or machine restart, recreation, auto healing, and update events. So these are the overview of MIGs and the benefits of MIGs. So see you in the next video. Welcome to another section where we are going to talk about instance groups. So far we have understood a little bit about instance groups, that they are a group of VM instances managed as a single entity. So in this hands-on lab, we are going to create our first instance group in Google Compute Engine. So for that, basically, let's go to navigation menu, and inside the Compute Engine, you can see the section where it says instance groups. So you can either create instance groups or health checks. So let's continue with instance groups. And as you can see, instance groups let you organize VM instances or use them in a load balancing backend service. You can group existing instances or create a group based on the instance template. So let's click on create instance group. Here you can see there are two types of managed instance groups, stateless and stateful. You can also see unmanaged instance group. So basically, stateless managed instance groups, you can create this if you want automatically manage groups of VMs that do stateless serving and batch processing. Here is the keywords: stateless serving and batch processing. So if you want the stateful managed instance groups, they are automatically manage groups of VMs that have a persistent data or configuration such as databases or legit application. Here's a keyword is a database. So if you want to create unmanaged instance group, as you can see, they are manually managed groups of load balancing VMs. So in this video, in this example, let's continue with new managed instance group inside a stateless for stateless serving and batch processing. The first thing is to give the name of the instance group. Let's say my managed instance group 1. If you want, you can also provide description, and as you can see here, instance template is mandatory. If you click on it, you can see we don't have any instance templates so far because we deleted already in our previous videos. But don't worry, you can click on create a new instance template here, and we can create instance template. Let's leave all the default configuration, and let's continue with this instance template. So here you can see we can allow HTTP traffic, and let's go to advanced options and let's provide some startup script. So I have here my startup script. Let me copy it, and I'm going to paste it here. You can see here is my startup script. So we have already seen it in our previous videos, how to create the startup script with instance template. So let's save and continue, and here you can see instance template 1, and you can also see the number of instances. The next thing is the location. As you can see, you can select either single zone or multiple zones. Of course, if you want higher availability, you can select the multiple zones, and let's leave it as a default region and default zones. You can select the target distributed shape. You can see there's only even shape that we can select, others are not allowed. So we can also configure auto scaling. Basically, you can use auto scaling to automatically add and remove instances to group of periods of high and low load. So you can either add and remove instances to the group by allowing on, and you can also select scale out if you want only add instances to the group. But if you also select the off, it will not, it do not auto scale. So let's continue with the default on, add and remove instances to the group. So here you can configure about the minimum number of instances and maximum number of instances. So let's make the minimum number of instances to 2 and maximum number of instances, for example, let's say 3. And you can also configure about the auto scaling metrics like CPU utilization. If you click on it, you can select several different metrics. Like apart from CPU utilization, you can select HTTP load balancing, cloud pub sub queue, or cloud monitoring metric. So we are going to continue with the CPU utilization. We can also configure about the target CPU utilization here. As you can see, it's 60% as a default. You can also here configure the predictive auto scaling. This is a new feature in Google Cloud Compute Engine. So if you want like historical load, you can configure the predictive auto scaling either off or optimized for higher availability. Let's click on done, and you can also configure cooldown period. So this means you can specify how long it takes for your app to initialize from boot time until it's ready to serve. The default is 60, but you can change it based on your preferences. You can also see the auto healing, where it recreates VM instances if your application cannot be reached by the health check. So this is really important concept, let's say in Google Compute Engine instance groups. So in auto healing, you can create a health checks. If you click on it, we don't have any health checks. So let's create a health check. Let's give it name my health check. and let's select the protocol HTTP, and the port is 80. You can leave the default proxy protocol and request path. You can also see the logs. You can see the turning on health checks logs can increase the cost in login, so let's leave it as an off. Here you can see the health criteria. You can define how health is determined, like how often to check, how long to wait for a response, and how many successful or failed attempts are active. You can configure about the check interval. You can see how often in seconds to send a health check. You can also configure the timeout, so how long to wait in seconds before request is considered a failure. You can configure about health threshold. So this is about how many consecutive successes must occur to mark a VM instance healthy. However, instance thresholds are how many consecutive failures must occur to mark a VM instance unhealthy. This is a reverse. So let's click on save and continue. You can see because this health check will replace unhealthy instances, you may want to increase the check interval to at least 10 seconds and the healthy threshold at least 3 times as your instances are replaced. Don't worry about this for now. So you can also configure about the initial delay. So the default is 300 seconds. So you can go and change it, for example, to 30 seconds. So you can see you can also add the port mapping. You can also click on show advanced configuration. You can see the managed instance list API call results. So don't worry about this and let's leave it as a default, and let's click our first instance group in our stateless managed instance group. Let's click on it, create, and this will create our first managed instance group. And of course it will take some time to create this managed instance group. So let's take a break and let's drink some cup of coffee and see you in the next video. As you can see, our managed instance group is ready. You can see the green check. You can see the list of information like name, instances, template, group type, creation time, auto scaling, and zone. So if you click on this instance group, you will see the details about the instance group. So for example, you can see that we have 2 instances because we configured the minimum number of instances to 2 and maximum number of instances to 4. You can see the instance by health, it's 100% healthy. So if you want to check more about health check, you can click on this my health check. It will guide you to the health check that we created. You can see it's a HTTP protocol. So you can of course edit this health check and change the protocol or port. You can also play around with intervals, timeout, healthy and unhealthy threshold. So let's go back. So you can also see the auto scaling, the minimum number of 2 and maximum 3, and you can see some template regarding the instance template. If you click on this instance template, it will guide you to the instance template that we created. So let's go back to instance groups and my managed instance group. Below we can see the 2 instance groups, 2 VM instances inside the instance group members. So you can see my instance group 1 with a number and words, it generated automatically. You can see the template. You can see they are in different zone, in US Central 1F and US Central 1B, and you can see the internal IP and external IP. So if you click on these VM instances, you will see the VM instances that we created using instance groups. So you can see the zone, name, and internal and external IP addresses. If you click on external IP addresses, you will see some information like hello world from my instance group. This is a startup script that we use it while creating instance template. So if you click on the second external IP address, you will see the same information with different IP address. So this means that our instance is 100% is healthy. So if you want, you can click this instance, my instance group, and you can of course edit it. If you click on edit, you can see there are several things that you can edit. For example, you can choose different instance template if you have a one. You can also configure target distribution shape. So you can also configure the auto scaling. You can also change it. For example, let's say we want some minimum number of instances, and let's make it maximum number of instances. And if you click on save, it's now, you can see, updating instance group, my instance group 1. It will now change the minimum number of instances to 3 and the maximum number of instances to 4. Of course, it will take some time because, as you know, instance groups manages not only one VM instance, it's now managing the 3 VM instances at the same time, and it will also managing the health check automatically. So as you can see, it's now updating. Here you can see the 2 instance groups. Now it will automatically add you one. If we refresh this page, let's refresh it. And let's give it a little bit of time. As you can see, this VM is being verified, so it will take some time. So it's saying here the 3 instances, but the one shows the red, which means that it's not 100% is healthy. So you can see it's saying unknown, health check by status. So let's give it a time. So it will, hopefully it will turn it to the green. Because they're managing the several VM instances at the same time will take some time. You can see the status, it's now updating. So you have to wait a little bit of time, and after that you can come back and you will see that this green, this red will turn to the green, which means the instance by health will turn to 100% healthy. So you can see the details about the instance group. You can also see the networking, auto healing. You can see the port name mapping and also location. You can see we have your central 1C, F, and B. You can see also go to monitoring and monitoring your instance groups. You can also go to errors. So let's go back to overview, and now you can see that this VM is running. It turned to 60% of healthy to 100% of healthy. It's now, there's no any the red flag that says it's unhealthy. So all of the VM instance is running. To confirm it, you can click on the external IP here, and if you click on this, you can see the message hello world from my managed instance group. This means that your instance group VM instances are healthy. If you go to VM instances, you will see we have 3 VM instances. So we added it and added one more. So this is how you can play around with instance groups, and this is how you can edit them. So next video we are going to play around with how to update the VM instances. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Welcome back everyone. So with the instance group that we created so far, we can also do rolling update and rolling restart and replace. So if you click on this my instance group, you can see the top that you can update the VMs, or you can restart or replace VMs. So let's see the first how to update the VMs. So basically this rolling update means the gradual update of instances in an instance group to the new instance template. You can specify it with a new template. Here you can see we can select the new template, but we have only one instance template with a startup script that we created while we were creating managed instance group. So if you have any instance template with custom image, you can specify it here, and you can configure about some other details. By clicking, you can add the second template, and if you have any template here, you can choose it. So we have only one instance template, so you can also update the configuration. You can also choose between automatic and selective updates and set additional options. If you click here,
You can select automatic or selective. Basically, automatic start proactive updates automatically. However, selective update VMs in this group when they are replaced, refreshed, or restarted, accepted during auto healing. So let's click on done and cancel it. So you can also play around how to restart and replace VMs. This is a gradual restart or replace of the all instances in the group. So there is no change in template, but the replace and restart existing VMs. You can see the operation restart or replace. Restart is only restart instances, replace delays instances, and recreates the new ones. You can also configure the maximum surge and the maximum unavailable and what you want to do with the replace and restart. So here you can see if you are in a restart, you can configure about maximum unavailable instances, the type, for example, the percent of the instance, and you can see the instances. You can also configure a minimum wait time. If you click on replace, here you can see you can configure temporary additional instances, and you can also configure maximum unavailable instances. So this is how you can this is how you can update the rolling update and rolling restart and replace with instance groups that you have created. So see you in the next video. So far we have seen how to create Google Cloud Compute Engine instance groups using the Google Cloud Console. But in this video we are going to create in my managed instance group using the command line interface. So for that, basically, let's click on the Activate Cloud Shell. If you want, you can also click on this open in a new window. So you can see we have a Cloud Shell here. The first command, as you can see at the Cloud Shell suggesting, is you have to run gcloud config set project and the project ID. You can get project ID in your Google Cloud Platform. Here you can see my first project, and here I can get my project ID. I can copy the ID here and basically set here, copy paste. If you click on enter, it will ask you to authorize. You can click on authorize. And now, as you can see, it's updated property. This is how you can set the project ID. So we can run the Ctrl-L to clear the page. So the first command is to see the list of the Google Compute instance groups by running gcloud compute, and after compute we run instance groups and manage it list. So always careful that when you are playing with instance groups, after gcloud compute you need to run instance groups, and after that you have to run the manage it if you are running the manage it instance group. So let's click on enter. And as you can see, we have one instance group, which is my managed instance group 1. You can see the location, you can see the scope, base size, target size, instance template. You can see the auto scaled yes. So this is how you can see the list of our managed instance groups. So if you want to create a new instance groups, managed instance group, you can run basically gcloud compute instance groups, and after that you have to run the manage it, and after manage it you can run create. So in previous command we used gcloud compute instance groups managed list, but here we are running gcloud compute instance groups managed create, and the name of the instance group, for example, my MIG, and you can also give some details, like you can give the zone, for example, let's say zone US Central 1, let's say US Central 1
A. You can also specify the template. As you know, we have a one template, which is instance template 1, instance template 1. So if you are not sure, you can go to here from the console. You can go to navigation menu, you can go to compute engine, and you can go to instance templates, and here you will see the instance templates, the name. You can see that it's instance template 1, so make sure it's the correct name because it will give you an error. So we have specified the instance template. We can also specify the size by writing size. So if we click on enter, it should create the new managed instance group with the name of my MIG. So it's, as you can see, it's giving an error. It's saying that gcloud.compute.instancegroups.manage.create argument size expected 1 argument. Yeah, actually we have to give I forgot to give the size, so we need to give the size, for example, 1. And if we click on enter, we are running the command gcloud compute instance groups manage it create, and the name of the instance group, we are specifying the zone, template, and the size. So as you can see, it's created new instance group with the name of MIG. You can see the location US Central 1A, you can see the scope zone, and you can see the base instance name MIG. You can see the size 0 and target size is 1. You can also see the instance template. We are using the same instance template that we used previously using a console. You can see we don't have an auto scale it option. So if you run the gcloud compute instance groups managed list, you will see the list of managed instance groups. You can see we have 2 instance group. The one is here, it says my instance group 1, and the second one is my MIG. We can also confirm it using the console. For example, if you go to instance groups, and if we refresh it, this page now, you can see, let's refresh it. You can see we have 2 instance groups. The one is my MIG. Another one is my instance group 1 that we have created using Cloud Console, and this one is we just created using the command line. So this is how you can create an instance group using the command line. We can also play with, you can also run the command, for example, gcloud groups manages. You can also run command delete, or you can also run, for example, describe, or you can also run the command list that we have just seen. So now let's go and play with auto scaling. So if you want to set up auto scaling, you can run the command gcloud. Let me go back. So gcloud compute instance groups manage it. After manage it, you can run set auto scaling, and you can run you have to specify the name of the instance group. In this case, my MIG. And after that, you have to specify the maximum number of replicas. Max num replicas, let's say 2. And you can also specify the zone. Zone would be US Central 1A. And if you click on enter, this will set up auto scaling. As you can see, it's now created auto scaling policy. You can see the cooldown period, SP utilization. You can see utilization target. So if you go to Google Compute instance group managed list, you will see my managed instance group. You can see the auto scale it now yes, before it was no. So we have configured, we have created, we have set up auto scaling. We can also stop auto scaling. To stop auto scaling, you can run the basic command. So you can run gcloud compute instance groups manage it. Instead of setup, you can change it to stop auto scaling, and we don't need the maximum number of replicas, so we can delete it here. The only thing you have to specify the name and the zone here. we are specifying the zone US Central 1A. If we click on enter, you can see it's deleted. So if we run the G-Cloud Compute Instance Groups Managed List, you will see here autoscaled no. As you can see, previously it was autoscaled yes. This is how you can create and play around with instance groups command line with a command line. So you can also configure cooldown period. You can also configure skill based on CPU, target CPU utilization, or you can also configure skill based on load balancing. You can also configure about the minimum number of replicas, like with using the modes off or on. So this is all about it for this video. See you in the next video. In this video, we are going to continue playing around with instance groups using the command line. So far, we have seen how to create instance groups, how to delete, describe, list, how to set autoscaling, how to stop autoscaling. So in this video, we are going to see how to resize the group, how to recreate one or more instances, how to update specific instances from the group, how to update instance template. So let's start with resizing the group. To resize the group, you can run the command G-Cloud Compute Instance Groups, and after that you have to run the command resize, and after that you have to specify the name of the instance group, my MIG, and after that you can write the -- size, and let's give it 1. You have to specify the zone as well, so US Central 1A. So if you click on enter, this will resize my MIG. So I think I have already resized it, so let's see it. You can see invalid choice resize. So we need to change G-Cloud Compute Instance Groups, manage it, and after that we can run the resize MIG. We click on enter. You will see it will resize. As you can see, it's now resized. So you can run the command G-Cloud to see it. You can run G-Cloud Compute Instance Groups and manage it list. If you click on enter, you will see the instance groups. This is the my MIG is the one that we are playing. So you can see the location, scope, base, size. You can see the size 1 and the target size 1. This is the one that we have just played. So if you want, you can go back and, for example, you can change the size to not 1 to from, for example, if you change the size 2, if you click on enter, and if you click again G-Cloud Compute Instance Groups Managed List, here you can see the target size changed from 1 to 2. So this is how you can resize. So now let's clear this page and let's learn how to recreate one or more instances. So before we before we use the command recreate instances, we have to see the instance name. So for that you can run the G-Cloud Compute Instances list. You can also go to console and confirm it. Here you can see the list of VM instances and their name, zone, and some of the configurations. So here, this is the one that we are playing. You can see the my MIG and the automatic auto generated word. So we can copy this name basically, and now let's clear this page, and now we can run the command G-Cloud Compute Instance Groups, and we have to write the manage it. Don't forget to include manage it, and after that you can run recreate instances. Recreate, I think I have a typo here. Recreate instances, and after that you can specify your in instance group name, and then instances dash instances, and let's paste the instance name that we have just copied earlier. I'm going to paste here my MIG and HFRM. So after that I can specify the zone, US Central Zone, US Central 1A. So if we click on enter, you will see it will recreate instance. You can see the project, and you can see zone, instance, and status. If you run the command gcloud compute instance groups managed list, and we have to run the gcloud compute instances list to see the result. You can see my MIG HRFM has recreated. So this is how you can recreate one or more instances. You can also delete these instances. So let me clear this page. We can also update specific instance from the group. For that you can run the command, let me copy and paste, not to waste a lot of time. So you can run the command gcloud compute instance groups, manage it, update instances, MIG, and you can run dash instance, and you have to specify the instances. So you can also run the gcloud compute instance groups, manage it, set instances template. And let me show you. Let's don't run this command. So this command basically updates specific instance from the group. Now let's see how to update instance template. So for that you can run the command, let me copy and paste so you can understand. I'm going to copy here and paste it here. You can see the gcloud compute instance groups, manage set instance template, MIG, and template. So this is how you can set a new instance template. It's saying, it's asking me, did you mean the zone? So you can specify the zone and clear. If you are in the Europe West 4A, you can specify any zone based on your preference. And if you click on yes, it will continue with the Europe West 4A. So this is how you can play around with instance groups using the command line. So we have seen several gcloud commands. Also, I will include these commands on the section so you can see and play with your own. So this is all about it for this video. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.